All right, the good people over at Logitech sent me over the G Cloud. Yes, the device that came out in October 2022. They said that they're basically doing a reintroduction of this device. I asked them if there was anything new or specific that I should be like checking out about the G Cloud at the end of 2024, and they said no. Just play some games on it and see how you like it. So here we go. We're gonna check out, is the G Cloud worth it coming into 2025? And setting it up is literally, it's an Android device. So if you've ever set up an Android device, this is no different than that. Now we're getting into, it has a handheld mode, gamers go here. It says it's designed for cloud gaming or local streaming. I mean, the setup did not take very long. I do think that this is gonna give more of a console-like experience, except that you have to be connected to good internet because you're gonna be cloud gaming for the most part. Emulation is also going to be awesome on this device. Dude, the ROG Ally has to figure out how to make the setup more like a console. Windows is just ruining that device. I mean, just like that, we are already in. I think from unboxing to getting logged in was like 20 minutes, maybe. I don't even know if it was that long. Oh, that's nice. They just keep the program in the background. Wow. Interesting. So getting this thing out of the box and like holding it in my hands and playing with it, I actually really enjoy the ergonomics of it. The build quality is solid. I really don't have any complaints about it. I love how thin it is, but this is an Android device. This is not a full-blown handheld PC. Not even close. And in fact, most of our cell phones in our pockets are more powerful than this device. And it just leads me to wanting to answer the question, do I need a dedicated handheld device? Or is just buying a really nice controller like the Game Sir right here and just putting your phone in it, does that do everything that you would need to do? I think the short answer is yes. Your phone is sufficient. But there is something to be said if you really just want to have a dedicated device that you can just set aside, put it to sleep, wake it back up, and just play those games that you want to be gaming on. Now, where that doesn't make any sense is if you're cloud gaming, which is the whole point of this. Because if you suspend your cloud game, you will be kicked off the server and you'll have to go all the way back through the login process to get back into your game. So it doesn't really do that unless you're playing a native Android game, or what this thing really does a good job of is emulation. I got this all set up with RetroArch, and it's actually pretty awesome to just have this dedicated device as almost like my emulation, well, station. because I put the front end emulation station on here and it just kind of transformed it into this beautiful, easy to use, not exactly easy to set up. There's a lot of setup involved, but once you get past that point and you have it to the point of where you want it, it becomes pretty awesome to just have this device sitting around where you could just pick it up, jump in one of your games, play it for a little while. You can just quickly suspend it. It goes to sleep. You just wake it back up, jump right back into the game. That part I like a lot. But let's stop getting ahead of ourselves. The ergonomics and the buttons I like. There's really nothing negative about them. They maybe are a little bit small. And if you have giant hands, I could see this being a problem. I have average male hands and I like them. Let's talk about the specs. This has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G. So this is actually an SoC that we saw launch in some devices March 2020. We're almost talking about a 5-year-old chip in this device. And the elephant in the room is the price point of this device. Other than price point, phenomenal. Really enjoy it. Love everything about it. And I don't think that we need super powerful, like the latest gen Snapdragons in a device like this necessarily. But when there are competitors dropping other ones with more powerful SoCs for the same price or less, it starts making it not make a lot of sense in my mind where this fits in the ecosystem of handhelds today. It also only comes with 64 gigabytes of internal storage, and there are no other options to upgrade that or anything. You just have to buy a micro SD card and throw that in this bad boy to get any type of usable storage, which is easy enough. You just throw it in right here. But it seems like, guys, in 2024, 64 gigs of space is just not enough. That's unacceptable. I think most people are realizing that. Steam, back in the day, dropped a 64 gigabyte version, but they have made it pretty clear that's never going to be on the table again. They're just selling off all those old ones, and none of the other handhelds have done that. I think this might be like one of the only ones that is like coming out from a big brand that just has 64 gigs. Strange to me. But again, you just throw a micro SD card in it and you're good to go. The screen is a 7-inch full HD, which is very nice. However, it's only 60 hertz. Now, cloud gaming, you can do like 4K at 120 hertz. And it would have been nice to see, more than 60 frames per second. But also, if the price point was right, and I don't think it is, 60 hertz wouldn't be that big of a deal. It could be still a very usable device with 60 hertz, but again, we're all sitting on these super powerful computers in our pocket that most all of them are doing 120 hertz or more. So again, it just leaves me being like, why would I want to use, I don't know. But the screen is nice. The size is great. It fits in the hand well. Games look awesome on it. I'm not like hating the 60 hertz. I do think coming into 2025, we shouldn't be seeing many gaming handheld devices only pulling 60 hertz unless they're like at a price point where it makes sense. The brightness on the screen goes up to 450 nit, which is great. That's not bad. It's also a touch screen. This device also only has 4 gigs of RAM. So that's not wonderful. Like, this is a pretty underpowered Android device. Put into a very nice shell, and the sizing of everything makes it feel really nice for gaming. So when you're cloud gaming or anything like that, you don't think about how underpowered it is. And in fact, you would want it to be underpowered because it doesn't need a lot of power, and then you can just game and game and game for hours and hours and hours because the battery is being like barely tapped into. Another great benefit is the USB-C does in fact support video out. So you can use something like the VITURE XR Pro glasses and plug them in and just cloud game away. Just enjoy your life, do anything and everything. I don't know what I'm talking about. So that's a nice little perk, that they included the ability to have video out on this device. But when the Steam Deck can get picked up at like $350, or like a refurbished 512 gigabyte Steam Deck at $360, some of the ROG Allies are going on sales and discounted, or buy them open boxed for like so cheap right now. It makes it really hard when this is $300. If we didn't talk about price point, this thing is kind of awesome. Amazing. Highly recommend. But when we talk about price point, everything starts to get very complicated very fast, because it still has its own unique value propositions, but it's just like really trailing behind on some things coming into 2024. I kind of am interested, like, are they trying to do another push to try to sell more of these to justify maybe making a new version? Because I truly believe in cloud gaming, and I really think these are very smart. But also, for the price point, I think we should be seeing something that's offering a bit more on the table. Okay, so that is basically all my thoughts about the Logitech G Cloud. The end of 2024, coming into 2025. I'd be really interested to know what you guys think. Do you see it as something that you would get instead of something like a Steam Deck? Or do you think this is something that you would buy alongside getting something like a Steam Deck? Having both devices, I do actually find myself gravitating towards this for retro gaming more so than I do on the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally, because it's just so easy. And it kind of just feels nice too. It kind of feels better to play these games. But that's like a totally my own feeling. And I would really like to know what you think about that. Also, we are so close to breaking 8,000 subscribers, and we are currently on the march to 10,000 subscribers. So I would really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, hit the thumbs up, and I will see you